Have you ever felt like if you just hit that $100,000 a year mark, all your problems would magically vanish? It sounds like the finish line, doesn't it? The golden number sold to us in school, in movies, and even by our own parents. They told us, get a good job, hit those 6 digits, and you're set for life. But here at Solomon's Treasury, we like to dig a little deeper. And the truth that nobody tells you in college is that today, $100,000 is the new 50,000. It sounds harsh, but stay with me. Society is designed to make you think that figure is the peak of the mountain. Most of our teachers, who were lucky to earn that much themselves, taught us under that outdated mindset. But there's a secret that truly wealthy people keep under lock and key. Money isn't about how much you receive in a paycheck. It's about the knowledge you have to multiply it and how much actual freedom you have left when the sun goes down. The people who actually have real money rarely come down to explain this to the average person. That's why we're here, analyzing what real millionaires do, not what old textbooks say. We're going to investigate why that 100K figure is actually a high middle-class trap designed to keep you chained to a cubicle. Real wealth is silent, while the 6-figure broke crowd is loud. We've been conditioned to chase a shadow. If you're looking at someone making 100K and thinking they've made it, you're looking at the wrong map. We need to shift the focus from how much I make to how much I own and who I know. The problem is that we are receiving financial advice from people who are just as trapped as we are. Your college professor might have a PhD in economics, but if he's still trading 40 hours a week for a paycheck, he's not an expert on freedom, he's an expert on employment. Before we reveal what actually separates the wealthy from those who just look rich, make sure to follow the channel. Here at Solomon's Treasury, we're hunting for real financial wisdom, not the fairy tales we were told as kids. Subscribe now to join the circle of those who seek the truth behind the numbers. To understand why we're so obsessed with 6 figures, we have to look back. About 30 or 40 years ago, earning $100,000 a year automatically put you in the elite club in the United States. You could buy a 5-bedroom house in the suburbs, have 2 brand new SUVs in the garage, travel to Europe every summer, and still have a mountain of cash left over to invest. But today, folks, it's a completely different story. What used to be a fortune is now just the entry ticket to a tight middle-class life in cities like Austin, Miami, or, heaven forbid, New York or San Francisco. The American dream has gotten a massive price hike, but our goals are still stuck in the 80s. Inflation isn't just some boring term you hear on the news while you're eating dinner. It's the monster that eats your purchasing power while you sleep. In many American cities, earning $100,000 after taxes, because yes, Uncle Sam is your majority partner and takes his big cut before you even see a dime, leaves you with a pretty gray reality. Once you pay an average mortgage, car insurance, that overpriced gym membership, groceries with inflated prices and credit card debt, you realize you're just a broke person with a good salary. You're trapped in a gilded cage, working 60 hours a week to maintain an image you can't actually afford. Here's where the root of the problem lies: education. Think about it. Most of our teachers told us that success was graduating and landing a 100K job. But who were they to teach us about wealth if they were living paycheck to paycheck themselves? It's like asking someone who gets winded walking up a flight of stairs for marathon training advice. We're getting information from people who think they made it because they have stability, but in reality, they have no clue how true financial freedom works. The people who actually hold the treasury, those playing in the big leagues, don't usually hang out in college hallways to explain this. If $100,000 was dropped into your bank account today, do you honestly think you could retire forever? Or would it barely cover your current debts and give you 1 year of breathing room? Let me know in the comments. I want to see how far that money actually goes where you live. The game has fundamentally changed. A few decades ago, the barrier to entry for wealth was information. You had to spend years in a library or a prestigious university to understand how the markets moved. Today, you can Google how to trade stocks in 5 seconds. But here's the kicker. While access to information is everywhere, access to true wisdom is becoming more exclusive by the day. Real, life-changing knowledge isn't found in a $100,000 MBA program or a dusty textbook. It's found at the tables where deals are actually closed, in the minds of people who are too busy building empires to write a syllabus for a college course. A high salary isn't wealth. It's just a monthly rental fee for a lifestyle you don't even own. This is the mental shift we preach here at Solomon's Treasury. If you want to be free, you have to stop chasing a 100K paycheck and start chasing proximity. I've reached a point where I only take business advice from people who are significantly wealthier than I am. Why? Because they see the world through a different lens. While the 6-figure employee is stressed about saving $50 on their grocery bill, the millionaire is thinking about how to acquire the entire grocery chain. They aren't playing a different game. They are playing on a different board entirely. Real education doesn't happen in an air-conditioned classroom with a multiple-choice test at the end. It happens in the trenches. If I had to start over today with $0, I wouldn't go out and take a $50,000 student loan for another degree. Instead, I'd find the most successful person in my city and tell them, listen, don't pay me a dime. Let me wash your car, drive you to meetings, or grab your coffee. Just let me sit in the room while you work. This is what we call education by osmosis. In one afternoon, watching a billionaire negotiate a deal, you'll learn more about psychology, sales, and leverage than in 5 years of university. The traditional system prepares you to be a gear in the machine. Proximity prepares you to own the machine. If you had the chance to work for an entire year for free for the wealthiest person in your country, just to learn their secrets, would you take it? Or would you prefer the security of a 9-to-5 office job? Be honest with me. Let's discuss this in the comments. Let's analyze a case I see every single day in cities like Charlotte or Atlanta. The 6-figure slave. Meet a guy who finally landed that senior management role. He makes his $100,000. But to look the part of his new status, he finances a $70,000 Ford F-150 Raptor over 5 years. He moves into a luxury apartment where the rent eats up 40% of his take-home pay. He wears designer clothes just to feel confident in the boardroom. At the end of the month, after the IRS takes its cut and he pays for his high-maintenance life, he's lucky if he has $500 left to save. If his company downsizes tomorrow, his wealth evaporates in exactly 30 days. He doesn't own his life. He's just leasing a lifestyle from the bank. Real freedom isn't the ability to buy expensive toys. It's being the absolute owner of your time without asking a boss for permission to live. Now, let's look at the second case, the Apprentice. I know people who, instead of dropping $60,000 on a fancy master's degree, decided to move to where the winners are. They took a low-level job as a personal assistant to a real estate mogul or a tech founder. They spent their days managing calendars and making sure the boss was focused. But while the 100K manager was busy filling out useless Excel reports, the apprentice was listening to how the wealthy use debt as a tool, how they structure companies to legally minimize taxes, and how they spot a once-in-a-lifetime deal every other week. A college degree is a life insurance policy. The reality? In today's economy, it's often just an overpriced receipt for outdated information. In my experience here at Solomon's Treasury, I've noticed one universal truth. If you know how to sell and how to solve, you will never be broke. If you walk into my office today and tell me you can solve a $10,000 a month problem for me, I'm not going to ask what school you went to. I'm going to ask when you can start. The 100K manager depends on a company's mercy. The apprentice who learned the art of the deal depends on their own skill. That is the difference between a glass ceiling and a sky with no limits. One is a worker, the other is a producer. Do you personally know someone who makes a lot of money but is constantly stressed, has zero time for their kids, and is one paycheck away from a meltdown? Does that actually look like success to you? I want to hear your thoughts below. The first step to building a real treasury is simple. Stop collecting diplomas and start collecting high-value skills. In the real world, nobody cares about the gold foil on your degree if you don't know how to generate revenue. The number one skill is sales. If you can sell, you hold the keys to every door in the world. Whether it's selling a product, an idea, or yourself, this is the foundational skill of the 1%. While others are studying theory, you should be out there practicing the art of persuasion and human psychology. You need to identify the giant in your immediate environment. Look for the most successful person you can reasonably reach, but be careful. Don't look for the guy with the flashiest leased car. Look for the person who owns real businesses, has multiple streams of income, and, most importantly, has freedom of time. Once you find them, ignore your ego. Approach them with a value-first mindset. Don't ask for a job. Ask for the chance to provide massive value for free in exchange for proximity. Remember, the most expensive education is the one you get while you work, not the one you pay for at a university registrar's office. You have to stop measuring your success by your annual salary and start measuring it by your financial leverage. Hard work makes you rich. The truth, if hard work alone made you rich, construction workers and janitors would be the wealthiest people on earth. Leverage and wisdom are what build empires. Start tracking how many income sources you have that don't require your physical presence. That is the only metric that matters. If you make 100K, but have to be in a chair for 60 hours a week to get it, you aren't rich. You're just an expensive employee. Out of these 3 steps, which one do you find the hardest to start today? Is it the ego hit of working for free to learn, or the fear of letting go of the prestige of your current title? Tell me your reality in the comments. I'm reading all of them. To wrap up everything we've analyzed today here at Solomon's Treasury, keep this in mind. Chasing $100,000 as if it's the ultimate goal is like running toward a mirage in the desert. The moment you finally arrive, you realize that the cost of living, the tax brackets, and the social expectations drank all the water before you could even take your first sip. Real financial freedom isn't found in the amount of your salary, it's found in the quality of your education and the size of your network. As we always say, if you want extraordinary results, stop asking for advice from ordinary people. The world is full of experts with empty bank accounts. Don't be one of them. Seek proximity, learn the art of the deal, and understand that it is 1,000 times better to be the driver for a billionaire than the boss of a grey office where no one owns their time. At the end of the day, money comes and goes. The economy cycles, markets crash, and trends fade. But the wisdom you gain by sitting at the right tables is something no one can ever take away from you. Not inflation, not the government, and not a global crisis. That knowledge is your true treasury. Financial risk scale high. We classify the risk of this topic as high if you choose to ignore these principles. Getting trapped in the 6-figure broke cycle without building real assets or high-value skills is the perfect recipe for a midlife crisis buried under a mountain of debt. On the other hand, the risk of investing in your own education and shifting your mindset is low because the return on wisdom is always multiplied. Thank you for joining us on this investigation. If this video opened your eyes to the reality of money, don't forget to do these 3 things right now. Hit the like button if you believe that wisdom is worth more than a college degree. Share. Send this to that one friend who is obsessed with finding a secure job so they can finally wake up. Comment. Use the section below to tell us which other financial myth you want us to dismantle in the next video. Remember, this is Solomon's Treasury, where we seek the wealth that transcends paper money. We'll see you in the next episode.